It was 8:43 a.m. when I honked. Not the aggressive, drawn-out kind that earns you a middle finger, just a polite double tap. The kind that says, "Hey, light's green." But apparently, that was enough. The silver SUV in front of me didn't budge. I'd already waited a full 5 seconds. The traffic light dangled above us, bright and emerald, screaming, "Go!" I tapped my horn, just once, just enough. Then the SUV jolted forward like it had been shot, tires squealing unnecessarily. We both cleared the intersection and I sighed, already reaching for my coffee. That's when I saw her. Through the mirror, I caught a glimpse. The woman behind the wheel, platinum blonde curls, sunglasses that looked like they belonged on a fashion runway, and a mouth twisted in absolute outrage. She mouthed something at me I couldn't quite make out. Then she flipped me off, both hands off the wheel. I chuckled. "Okay, Karen." I didn't think anything of it. Until she followed me through the next 4 turns. At first, it seemed like coincidence. People take the same routes all the time, right? But the moment I pulled off my usual commute to avoid traffic, onto a small detour road only locals really used, and saw her SUV in the mirror again, my smile dropped. She was following me, matching every turn, every lane change, every acceleration. "All right," I muttered, hands tightening around the wheel. "What's your game?" I took a sudden right onto Pinehurst, skipping the usual route entirely. She followed. I drove through a gas station and exited the other side. She followed. By mile 3, my heart was pounding. By mile 5, I was planning how to lose her. I dipped off the main road and zigzagged through neighborhoods, making turns so sharp I nearly clipped a trash bin. Still, she stuck behind me like a shadow. Her SUV stayed a safe distance, but always present. I passed a school zone. She passed too. I looped around a cul-de-sac, faked pulling into a driveway, then sped out again. She didn't hesitate, just turned in behind me like it was all part of her plan. I checked my rear view again and caught her expression. Calm. Collected. Smiling now. What the hell? I tapped the side of my phone and asked Siri to call the non-emergency police number. As I held the phone to my ear, another message came through. This time, a notification from AirDrop. "Karen's iPhone wants to share a photo." My jaw tensed. I declined it. Then another one popped up. Declined again. She was taunting me. Or worse, she was close enough to access my phone's Bluetooth. That meant she wasn't just following me. She was practically riding my bumper. I pressed harder on the gas. The police station downtown wasn't far now, less than 10 minutes. I could make it. Then my phone buzzed again. A text. Unknown number. "Don't run, it'll only make it worse." I nearly dropped the phone. I shot down Marshall Avenue, where I knew traffic cameras lined every pole. If she wanted to play games, I was making sure someone was watching. The sun was higher now, pouring hot gold through the windshield. I could feel sweat collecting at my collar, but I dared not wipe it. My hands were glued to the wheel. Another text pinged. "Do you remember what you did?" What? What I did? I didn't know this woman. I was sure of it. I'd never seen her before. The name Karen wasn't literal, just a nickname we all used for people like this, rude, self-righteous, belligerent. She was a stranger, right? 2 more blocks. The police station was within sight. I could see the flagpole. Then her SUV surged forward. She swerved into the oncoming lane and came up beside me, rolling down her window. She was filming me, with a big grin on her face, like this was some prank show and I was the fool. Then she screamed something through the open window. "Say you're sorry!" I said nothing, just stared ahead, laser-focused on the safety of the precinct up ahead. And then she cut me off, swerved directly in front of me and slammed on the brakes. I skidded. Tires squealed. We stopped inches apart. Before I could process what had just happened, she was out of her SUV. Door flung open, heels clicking against the pavement. She walked straight toward my window with the phone still recording in her right hand. Apologize, she said, tapping the glass with her fingernail. Say you're sorry, for the honk, for everything. I locked the doors. Look, I said, cracking the window just enough. I don't know you. I honked at a green light. That's it. You're scaring me. She tilted her head. You don't remember, do you? Remember what? She leaned in, and for a moment the smile dropped from her face. 10 years ago, she whispered. That night on Mayfield. Your car. My brother. The bottom dropped out of my stomach. Mayfield. A street I hadn't driven in a decade. A memory I thought I'd buried. She stepped back, smile returning like a mask sliding into place. I'm not here for revenge, she said, turning away. I just want everyone to know who you really are. And behind her, 3 more SUVs pulled into the street. The roar of 3 engines echoed down the street as the other SUVs came to a coordinated stop. 2 behind me, 1 blocking the far end of the block like a barricade. All 3 were white, matching, identical make and model to hers. I blinked. Once. Twice. I wasn't just being followed. I was surrounded. Karen stood calmly between me and her SUV, her phone steady in her hand, like she was live-streaming a nature documentary. The red light blinked steadily. This is the one, she said aloud, but not to me, to the camera. The guy who honked, the guy who left, the guy who ran. I rolled my window up the rest of the way and locked the doors again, even though I already had. My hands trembled now, not from fear exactly, but from something colder. Recognition. Mayfield, the night she mentioned. I hadn't thought about it in years. A stormy night, wet pavement, a quick turn around a blind corner, a figure in the road too fast to avoid. I had stopped. I had called it in, but no one ever found the person, and no one ever found me responsible, because no one knew I was there except maybe her. Karen looked at me with something that wasn't anger now, not rage. It was worse. It was certainty. I told you I'd find you, she said, lips moving in sync with the camera. And now everyone will know. Not just about the honk. Not just about today. She gestured toward the other SUVs. They all know. We remember what you did. Then from behind me, a voice called out. Female, calm, rehearsed. Step out of the vehicle. I didn't move. Karen raised her phone higher, and the SUVs began to open their doors. All at once, the doors opened in perfect synchronicity, like a choreographed act. One by one, people stepped out. They weren't wearing uniforms, no badges, no masks, just regular people. Regular people with purpose. One was a woman in scrubs holding a tablet. Another was a guy in a mechanic's jumpsuit, arms crossed like he'd been waiting for this. A third looked like he'd come straight from church, pressed button-up, slacks, shiny shoes, and every one of them stared at me. No words, just eyes, judging, watching. I cracked the window again. What is this? Karen smiled wider. You thought it was a hit and run, but it wasn't a secret. Not forever. This is insane, I said, shaking my head. You can't block a street. You can't. This isn't legal. We're not here to hurt you, she said almost kindly. We're just here to remind you. Of what? She stepped forward, close enough for me to see the reflection of her phone screen. I was live. Thousands of viewers, hearts floating, comments racing. She leaned in. You took something from us. One by one, we all felt it. A ripple. Her tone was almost reverent now. You kept driving that night. Even if you stopped, you left. I froze, because deep down I had. I hadn't meant to. I'd panicked. But I hadn't waited. I hadn't owned it. Karen reached into her coat pocket and pulled out something small, a key fob. She held it up and pressed the button. My car unlocked. From every direction, the group began to step forward. But it wasn't the unlocking that chilled me. It was the realization that someone had been inside my car before today. Karen held up her phone one last time. "Say goodbye," she whispered. And then, from the back seat, a voice I hadn't heard in 10 years said softly, "Do you remember me now?"